All right, for our first interview today,
Right.
I'm pleased to have Eugene from StaffAny. He was part of our first cohort or the second cohort where we all met digitally.
Yeah.
So it's the first time that we're actually meeting in person and in the Singapore Tourism Accelerator
Right.
venue. So please, Eugene, tell us a bit about StaffAny and give us a bit of a background, what you guys are doing. And it's been a couple of years now, so the journey as well from where you started and sort of where you are now.
Right, thanks so much, Praveen, for having me on this show. Right, it's super amazing to be back here, back at the STB building. Yeah, it's about maybe 2 years, right, since we last met, and it's very amazing to meet everyone in real life again. Yeah, so I'm Eugene, the CRO and co-founder of StaffAny, and for us, our focus is on workforce management for the blue-collar workforce, right, with the key focus in reducing and minimizing labor costs and optimizing labor allocation. Yeah, so that's what we do.
So you got the elevator pitch all worked out.
Oh, really? I've been practicing for this for days, man.
Awesome. So tell us a bit more about StaffAny. Like, what is the industry that you're working in? What are the problems that currently workforce? And we were told that in this current generation, this current cohort that's actually coming in, cohort 6, the focus mainly is on labor workforce shortages, complications with workforce. Things like that are a big problem now. The current age, because due to COVID, for whatever reason, a lot of our industry, as you know, the hospitality industry, sought greener pastures, right?
Yeah.
And now, not just in Singapore, but in many countries around the world, a lot of hotels, a lot of restaurants, and the food and hospitality industry in general is having difficulties with getting people back to work for them. So in this scenario, right, like, why is workforce management important? So maybe you can just share a bit more about that and talk about what problems you guys have seen, with current restaurant chains that you're working with and other things like that, and how you think in the next phase, things are going to get better.
I think that's a really interesting question, right? I think that's something that is very common, right? Probably everyone can also see that, in Singapore, in Malaysia, there's always like posters everywhere asking, hey, hiring needed, immediate, right? These are the things that we have always been seeing, especially in Southeast Asia, right? So I think one of the key things in terms of what we are trying to do is two things, right? First is to increase efficiency in terms of the management. Second is to improve allocation of manpower, right? So what do we mean by efficiency, right? It's because for the blue-collar side of the industry, the F&B, retail, and hospitality, usually in terms of managing their guys' schedule, consolidating the timesheets is always messy.
Yes.
It's always different, right? So I always like to share this analogy of PAA, right? Plan, actual. So what does this mean, right? It's a planned schedule, actual schedule, and actual time attendance. So usually without a tool like us that match your schedule and your time attendance, it always be very messy. Because the current way of doing with Excel, right, you only get your planned schedule, but you don't get your actual schedule. But whenever you get their time attendance, is their actual time attendance, right? And these always don't match with the planned schedule. So that's what we do in terms of helping efficiency. Secondly is in terms of the labor short. How can we increase or better optimize, I would say, all of these labor allocation? Is because current ways of doing don't allow them to have the data needed, right? What is the coverage that they need per hour, right? What is the trend of the past performance of their labor? These are things that are not captured, and that is what we do. So that is what we have been helping F&Bs, like our favorite, like those who drink bubble tea in Singapore. There's a Liho, there's Flash Coffee and Salad Stop. That's what we help them with in terms of optimizing.
So it's a lot to do with capturing data.
Capturing data, right?
Capturing data in a structured way.
Yes.
And analyzing the data.
Correct.
Right? I think that is really the key, because this industry in general is a bit messy when it comes to data. It's a lot manual.
Yes.
A lot of timesheets all filled by hand, right? And as you said, spreadsheets.
Yes.
Basically. So at the end of your month or whatever it is, or end of the week, because here we look at maybe a weekly cycle, we can't really analyze what happened to improve.
Yeah, so you're pretty on point on that.
There you go.
Right.
So capturing data is what your platform really does well, and then gives them insights.
Yes.
Into how to better utilize the existing workforce. Is that right? Or?
Yeah, that's right. And I think that in the future, right, I think something interesting that we can all look at, right, is about how can we retain all these workers. I think that is the next key thing that I would think that people who are doing this in this space, right, should look at, and that's what we're actually looking at. How can we retain the blue collar workers, right? Because of the shortage in labor, right? How can we make work more exciting? So actually on our end, we are developing a new tool to assist with that, whereby we are trying to reward employees for good behavior or extra shift work. So I would say that would be the new way of managing a blue-collar workforce, right? Because to be honest, their work is not the easiest, not the sexiest, right?
Yeah.
It's really hard work. So how can we empower and make work fun for them?
And rightly what you said was the rewarding part.
Yes.
How do you recognize
Yes, how you recognize them? Yeah.
those that have contributed effectively
Yes.
and reward them
Yes.
for that hard work that they put in.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's really the key. But so your new platform, maybe you can tell us a bit about this new platform
Right.
that you guys are working on.
So we try to be creative, right? We call it engage any, right? It's about how can we engage anyone, right? So I think that's I would say the direction that we're going to is really about gamifying and changing how blue collar work is being done, right? So that whenever F&B, retail, or hospitality staff go to work, right, they wouldn't feel that, oh man, it's just another work to feed the bills, right? It's something like, hey, I want to go to work because I'm able to get recognized for my effort and I want to do more. So that's the entire direction that we're heading towards too.
So it's sort of a shift in the mindset.
Yes, shift in the mindset.
Where it's not just working for a wage, but at least making it more interesting, making it a bit more challenging, and recognizing essentially. So great. Was there anything else you'd like to tell us about your growth currently? Which markets you guys are looking at, and which markets you think have good value and sort of are growing industries in the Southeast Asian market?
Right. Actually, on my end, I think actually workforce management, right, especially managing labor, right, is a problem throughout the entire world, right? I mean, that's a common problem in the entire world, right? For us, I think our key focus would be in Malaysia and Indonesia next, right? We're actually based in Singapore. We have a good, I would say, base here already in Singapore, right? But the next key thing is about how can we do this or repeat this in the other Southeast Asian market.
Awesome. So good base here, proven the solution here, and now looking to branch out into the rest.
Because for now we are serving more than 1,000 locations around the world.
Fantastic.
Right, and I think we have managed to track more than 20 million hours of clock hours already. So it's really about how can we further value add the other nearby countries, and I would say digitalize the entire Southeast Asia together.
Awesome. And before we wrap up, I think the last question really is that what did you think about the STB program, that we both did together? How did you find the interaction? Maybe a few pointers there would be great as well.
Right. So if I may have the chance to summarize it, I summarize it into 3 points. First, of course, it's amazing, right? Get to meet people like Pat, like yourself, right, Praveen, right? I think it's really amazing, right? Second, I think it provides a very, I would say, a good ecosystem of people who have been through this or are going through this journey together. Because all these insights and learnings are things that you can't really find online, right? And thirdly, I think SDB has been very helpful in terms of introducing pilots or also potential clients or partners. So I think it's an amazing program to actually attend. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me here.
Yep. And we'll keep in touch.